Welcome to Talkin Fight with me, Holly Donovan. Welcome to today's show. It's a pretty special weekend because you're going to be seeing, hopefully, quite a lot of my face. So I'm going to do the preview show today for Fury versus Chisora III. Then I'm going to head over to the weigh-in, get you some clips from there and chase around anybody that I can for interviews. And I'm also going to be there live on Fight Night, hopefully in a really fabulous press seat. So I'll be able to again bring you some fabulous clips. I'll again chase people around for interviews. So stay tuned all weekend is what I'm saying, because you're in for an absolute treat. It's going to be a fantastic fight night. It's happening at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium over in London live tomorrow night. I'm going over to Highbury and Islington for the weigh-in today. So I'm going to give you a preview of all the fights, essentially. I'm going to give you the whole card. Why not? It's a good card. It's exciting. Now, say what you like about Fury and Chisora. I know this fight hasn't had the best reaction. However, I do think this is going to be a really fun night. Like, you're going to be entertained. If there's anything that we know about Tyson Fury, okay, he's not fighting AJ tomorrow or Usyk, but Chisora, he's really entertaining as well, and he's still a top 10 fighter. So this is going to be fun. This is going to be entertaining. They promised to make it a night to remember. So let's start from the top, shall we? So, I mean, obviously, the biggest fight of the night will be Tyson Fury versus Chisora. So, first photograph, please. And we will see them up and there. Oh, where is it? There you go. So, we've got, you know who Tyson is, you know who Derek Chisora is. So, okay, these guys have fought twice before. This is a trilogy. It's not necessarily the trilogy that everybody was asking for, because neither of the other fights were, you know, controversial in any way at all. Tyson Fury won both of them outright. However, the first one was in 2011. It was ages ago, and Tyson won via unanimous decision. The next one was in 2014, so 8 years ago, so still ages ago. And that time, Tyson won with a TKO in round 10. So, I mean, we're pretty confident that we're going to see Tyson win again. However, neither fighter, I would argue, is the same as they were back then. I think they are both very different. Tyson, as we know, went through an awful lot, even 2 years time off with alcoholism and depression. We'll go into that. And Derek Chisora, despite losses, is still absolute fan favorite and is loved and has been fighting in the ring with the best for years and years and years. So let's start with Tyson. We know him. He's the Gypsy King, massive boxing family. He is a 2-time world champion. He has been WBC heavyweight champion since 2020, and he held all the other belts previously back in 2015. So they're all the belts that Usyk's currently got. So he has held everything. So he won those belts when he faced Vladimir Klitschko in 2015. But things after that took a little bit downward turn, and then he returned to win it again in 2020. So he's born in Manchester, and he started boxing at the age of 10, obviously, because you've got that massive boxing family. His dad trained him up until 2011, actually. And he also had other trainers like Huey Fury and Peter Fury as well. So big family affair. He was a great amateur. I know no one even talks about that. Like, was he even an amateur? Yes, he was. However, he was overlooked for the 2008 Olympics. So he decided, well, I'm going to go pro then. I'm not going to wait around. However, when he was an amateur, he had 31 fights, and out of that, he got 26 KOs. So he was really good. I mean, obviously, he's one of the best. When he went pro, he worked his way up. And he did an excellent job. So when he won all those belts from Klitschko in 2015, it was a really epic thing. Klitschko wanted a rematch. However, that rematch never happened. It is because Tyson has admitted, and he's talked all about his struggles with falling into alcohol, depression, drugs. There was a subsequent drug ban because he had cocaine in the system, quite obviously. You know, he was open about what happened to him. And therefore, he started vacating the belts that kind of trickled away from him. In 2016, he reached 150 kilograms. So there's a massive amount of weight gain as well. And so obviously, it was a really bad time for him. He came back in 2018. Now, it was an amazing comeback. His first fight was with Dillian Whyte. And this was a draw. So it's the only draw he's ever had. I should probably say, you know, he's had 33 fights, 32 wins, obviously, 1 draw. And out of that, he's had 23 knockouts. So he's got this epic resume anyway. But in this 2018 fight, it was a draw. He was knocked down, but he came back, and it was even voted comeback of the year from the Ring magazine. There was a rematch then, and when he got back in the ring, he managed to win that one, and he got a TKO in the 7th round. And in their third match, so against Wilder, because that was also a trilogy, he got another TKO in the 11th round. So he fully proved himself twice afterwards. Now we all know about Tyson. I feel silly telling you because like everybody's going to know about Tyson Fury. But he then had a stint in Vegas. He's got dead popular in America over the last couple of years. He also did a bit of WWE. Don't know if you've seen that. That's very Tyson-esque, actually. All the crazy outfits, the stories, the acting. I really think, actually, when he eventually really does genuinely retire from boxing, I think he will go straight into WWE. I think that's got his name written all over it. He's also written an autobiography. He's had a reality TV show on ITV. He's got a documentary coming out on Netflix. He even wrote a song with Robbie Williams. So he's been busy. He's been doing all sorts of things. He's just entertaining, really entertaining inside and outside of the ring. Inside the ring, I mean, you've seen him. He's so hard to get to. He is a really awkward shape, really powerful. People argue who's the best fighter in the world right now, certainly the best heavyweight. So what is he doing fighting Derek Chisora? Well, we can ask Chisora. So Derek Chisora, known as War or Del Boy, he's had 45 fights. He has won 33 of them. He's lost 12. And he's had 23 KOs. Now, like I said earlier, despite these losses, he is still loved because he's an entertainer. He's a brawler. And actually, in the last fights that I've seen him in, my favorite was probably when he was against Usyk. And he just, this engine and this tank that he has developed, it was an incredible version of him. Took it all the way to points as well. And I just thought that was amazing. Recently he did beat Pulev as well. Again, that was kind of a similar fight where it really took everything out of him, and you could see that he was just giving and giving. And I always think that's just really entertaining as a fighter, you know, to watch someone constantly attacking. I just think it's great. He did once challenge for the world title. That was back in 2012. He has quite a cool story. So he was brought up in Zimbabwe. He moved to the UK in 1999 when he was 16 years old. And he was much later to boxing than Tyson Fury was. So he started when he was 19. He started at the ABC gym, which is actually the same gym that AJ trains out of now, but obviously Chisora was there first. He went pro in 2007 after quite a decent amateur career. He won gold in the Four Nations Championship, so he was doing pretty well. I like Chisora because he likes to aggravate. He's fun. I mean, recently he was very pro-Brexit, just to, I think, cause arguments. When he was at the weigh-in for the Pulev fight, he wore a Boris Johnson mask. Again, you know, that's got to be controversial there. He also, if you think about it, he's been very respectful during this fight week, but actually he's known for the press conferences and causing trouble. So against Vitaly Klitschko, he threw some water over his face. Against David Haye, threw a glass bottle at him. There was a table thrown at Dillian White, which is fun. And all in all, this has actually cost him like over £100,000 in damages. But it doesn't matter. I'm sure he's made it up from being really entertaining anyway. Now, by that long list of people that I've said he has aggravated in press conferences, that shows you as well he has been in the ring with the very best. He really has. Like I said earlier, he faced Usyk as well. He's been there with Dillian White. He's just loved. He just says yes to every fight. You know, he doesn't care. He loves fighting. He wants to be in the ring. He's always talking about a payday and feeding his family, and I think that's really important to him as well. But I love him. I think he's great. He gets offended when people ask him, oh, when are you going to retire? I think he is coming to the end of his career. I mean, he has had quite a lot of losses lately, but I think he just loves it. The last winning streak he actually had was broken by Tyson Fury in 2014. So probably we'll see what's going to happen. Do you know what though? Tomorrow will be a fun affair. They made some sort of secret agreement earlier in the press conference. They like spat hands and shook on it, and I think they're going to go toe to toe from round one. That's the rumor. That's what they've said. So I do think we're going to have fun. All right, let's go into chief support. So next photo, please. Here we go. We have got Daniel Dubois on the left there, and he is facing Kevin Lerena. He is a southpaw from South Africa. So I think this is going to be fight of the night. We've got Daniel Dubois now. He is the favorite to win, and I completely agree with that. I'm a big fan of Daniel. He has had 19 fights, 18 wins. 17 of those have been KOs. We're talking some serious power. His one loss was to Joe Joyce. Now, I implore you to watch that, actually. Have a look, because he fought incredibly well. He was landing really powerful, excellent shots. But we all know Joe Joyce is made of concrete. Um, so nothing seemed to stop him. But also there was a repeated jab on Daniel Dubois' eye, which actually resulted in a broken orbital bone. So he had to take the knee in round 10 because his eye had literally shut. Like if you look at the YouTube, you'll see an amazing fight, and then unfortunately it does have to stop. Whether or not he would have won if they carried on, I don't know, but I think he did the right thing. People called him a quitter. I think that's unfair. He took time out to recover, and he's done a really good job. So he came back. He fought Trevor Bryan a couple of months ago in the weirdest fight you've ever seen. Not the fight itself, that was great. He knocked out Trevor Bryan in round 4, but it was a very strange scenario. It was a Don King Promotions, and it all looked a little bit back in time. So I think he's probably quite grateful to be at Tottenham Hotspur tomorrow. Like, yay! That will sound fun. Anyway, so he's from a massive boxing family. You've heard me blab on about Caroline Dubois before because I'm also a big fan of her. They have a fabulous boxing family. They've also got a little brother called Solomon who's on the rise, so watch out for him too. Daniel started boxing at the age of 9. Had a fantastic amateur career. He's super decorated. He spent 18 months with Team GB. But he actually went pro instead of going to the 2020 Olympics. He just wanted to absolutely go for it. And obviously he did the right thing because he's done a really good job. Now, you know, I love a story behind a boxer. So I am just going to tell you this little story about his family because it's really cool. So his dad made $1 million in New York back in the 80s by selling posters. Can you believe it? So he printed out a load of posters in the UK, flew over and sold them. He found all the right places to go and literally made millions. So Daniel Dubois and his siblings like live in a great house, and they've had a lovely upbringing because of this mental way of making $1 million. Also, what's really cool is that they are related, the Dubois family, to a woman called Sylvia Dubois. And now she was actually a slave, but she won her freedom through bare knuckle fighting, which I just think is such a cool story. And also, what an epic inspiration for Caroline as well to have a woman in their family. So fighting is in their blood. I like cool stories, so I thought I'd share them. So Daniel has risen up brilliantly. So he's won the last 3 fights in a row. He's got this current regular belt, heavyweight. I think he's next in line and should have a decent shot at going for a world title pretty soon if he gets through Kevin Arena, which I think he will. So he now trains with Shane McGuigan. He's been with him for around 2 years. We've got some new techniques coming on there. He's really, really powerful, is Daniel Dubois. He says that he's a lot lighter at the moment, that he's looking at speed and precision. Really thinks that beats power, but obviously a fabulous combination altogether. Now, he is excited to fight Kevin because he's a southpaw, which also Osik is a southpaw, and I think obviously he's in Dubois' sights as well. So I'll chat about Kevin Arena. He is 30 years old, so Daniel Dubois is 25. Like I said, he's a southpaw. He's had 29 fights. He's won 28 of them. 14 KOs. He's only lost 1. Now, he was the IBO Cruiserweight champion in 2017 and was a cruiserweight for a long time. So he's only had 2 fights as heavyweight. So this is kind of a test for him. And to be thrown in with Daniel Dubois, I think that's pretty tough, but he's up for it. So he went pro in 2011 and he went to heavyweight in 2020. So he's been there for a couple of years, if that. Now, his only loss was actually back in 2014. So he has been undefeated for 8 years. So that's going to be tough to break for Daniel. He said he's feeling really good at heavyweight. He feels more like he has more energy, loads more explosive. So little stories with him. He seems really humble and really nice in interviews, actually. And in the press conference, he went to shake Daniel Dubois' hand for the photo opportunity, and Daniel Dubois was like, no. Yeah, I think he was trying to be nice, but he's like, no, whatever. So hopefully we'll see a bit more war in the ring. His family back home, they own a horse racing business. He's also a jockey, just a cool little fact for you. He also works as a volunteer on the streets of Johannesburg, helping people out there. So yeah, he comes across as a really nice guy, and obviously must be. So recently, he fought Mariusz Wach. He fought Vladimir Klitschko, and Kevin Arena managed to beat him via points, and that was quite recently. So you can see that he's still on form and he's still doing really well. However, I would say that Daniel Dubois has had much tougher opponents, so this is definitely going to be a step up for Kevin Arena, I would say. However, you know, Southpaws moving up from cruiserweight to heavyweight, that's not normally a problem. It's fine. Usyk proved it. All right, now let's move to the next fight. I am going to chat about. Okay, so this is the Karol Atuma fight. Karol on your left there, and he will be fighting Wladimir Beluski on your right. Or is that my right? I don't know how it looks to you. I'll watch that back and work out my left and right. Okay, so Karol, he is British, Slovakian born, but British. He is a southpaw. He is the favourite to win with 1 to 100 odds. And he really will. He's 8-0, totally undefeated, 6 KOs. He is a big fat prospect. Watch out for him. He began at 13, so he's been boxing for a long time, and he won gold at the Youth Olympics, which is why he's doing great as a pro. Little stories for you. He was obviously very good at school. He was head boy. He was also in a rowing team. So he's our future star. He went pro in 2020, so very, very new for him, obviously being really, really active. We last saw him on the Tyson Fury card back in April. So he had a fight against Michael Siach, and he won with epic combination shots, actually. And he got a second round TKO, and the referee had to actually stop the fight because all of Atuma's punches were just totally unanswered. Watch it back. It's fun. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to win, but this is his first 8-rounder. Not that I think he'll need to go 8 rounds, but we'll see. His brother, again, I'm talking about siblings today. His brother is a fabulous amateur. He's called Enrico. He is really making a splash in the amateurs as well, so I reckon he'll join him very soon. So he has been set up with Wladimir Beluski. This is a light heavyweight clash. Now, Wladimir, he is Slovakian, but he is based out of Ireland. He's had 18 fights. He's lost 5 of them. He's won 12. He's had 8 KOs and 1 draw. So he's nicknamed Big Bad Vlad. I mean, he's a good fighter. He's been sent as a test for Karol right now. This is a test. This is a big step up for Karol because Wladimir is a lot more experienced. Big Bad Vlad, yeah. So he lost his last 2 fights, but I have to say, looking at those last 2 fights, I mean, he stepped in for one of them against Jack Cullen with like no notice at all. And then following that, he fought Shaquille Finn in Canada. Now get this was on November the 12th of this year. So I mean, that's a pretty short camp. What, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3-week camp? Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. He's been very active. Hopefully that I mean, coming off 2 losses, he's gonna have something to prove. So he might be a really tough opponent. He's a tough puncher, actually, and he was disappointed by his performance against Finn in Canada. So I think he might be tough for Karol. However, like I said, I think Karol's a really good prospect. So if you're looking for a bet on Karol. However, again, fun fight. Okay, so let's now go to the next fight. Alrighty, so who have we got here? So Isaac Lowe. He is going to be facing Sandeep Singh Bhatti from India. So Isaac Lowe, he's 28. He's a favourite to win with 1 to 18 odds. He's had 21 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws, and 6 KOs. He's known as the Westgate Warrior. Now, you probably know him because he's Tyson's mate. Very, very good mates. They train out of the same stable. And actually in August, when Tyson announced his return, he actually said that Isaac Lowe was going to train him. But obviously, I mean, Sugar's been there. So but they have been in the same camp, and Isaac has said that they have done some training together too. So he went pro in 2012 at the age of 18, big boxing family, obviously. He was the international featherweight champion in 2018. He's also challenged for the European belt as well. Now he is he's such a good friend and such a good training partner, and he is on the warpath because he's coming back off 2 losses. So he is here to make a point. This is a 6-round fight. He actually trained for a longer round fight, but he is up to prove something. His last fight was against Nick Ball. He was really disappointed because he suffered quite a bad eye injury in that one, and he had to take a lot of time out for it to heal. So there was a TKO in the 6th of his last fight. So yeah, this is him coming back. So Sandeep has stepped in. He has had 8 wins, 4 losses, no draws. He's also 28. Now, I like his story as well. So he's with VN Promotions, who are brand new, and they were set up in 2020 in India. And Sandeep is really praised for raising the bar for boxing in India. And the fans are really excited to see him on such a massive stage against a respected, decent boxer. So this is a great step up for him. Huge respect. Now, he's coming off 2 wins. So, and the last one was a TKO. So I think that he will also be, on a good streak, and he, trying something to prove as well there. So again, I think this is a cool fight. The stadium's not going to put him off. He has had big fights in the UK before. He has fought in Wembley and in York Hall. So yeah, it's going to be great. All right, so let's now move over to my next slide, please. So the next fight. Hope you're still with me. Okay, so here we go. We have got Royston Barney-Smith. He is known as Sugar Boy Roy, and yeah, he's as young as he looks. He's 18. He went 18. Oh, so he went 18. He went pro on his 18th birthday. This is the first year of him as a fighter. He is the favorite to win, odds 1-18. He is 3-0 with 1 KO. His last fight was that KO. Now he's great. He's definitely a prospect. This is his 2nd time on a Tyson card as well. Lucky him. He was last out in York Hall. And when he was an amateur, he got 2 lots of European golds. He was sent, this is a cool stat, he was sent for 37 competitions representing England, and he won 36 of them. So absolutely brilliant. Now, he didn't hang around for the Olympics. He decided, no, I want to go pro. He said he just got tired of it. So here he is on the new path of his career, and he dreams to be the youngest ever world champion. Well, at the rate he's going, yeah, could see that happening. He's got some competition, I'd say, but yeah. We'll see how this goes. He is going to be against Cruz Perez, who's known as the Pitbull. He's from Nicaragua, who has won 3, lost 3, drawn 1. All of the losses have been points losses. So I would say, even though he's clearly a journeyman, that he's durable. So let's see if Royston can get another little KO going on there. Now, Cruz Perez's last fight, get this is even crazier, was on the 18th of November this year. So again, that little 2-week fight camp, we'll see how Cruz Perez does. Maybe they don't need me, I don't know. It just seems crazy. So now let's move on to the next fight. We are looking at Hosea Burton. Okay. So Hosea Burton, he's 34. Now he is Tyson Fury's cousin, hence why he's on this card. He's a favourite to win, 1-25 odds, and this will be in a 6-round fight. Now, he is a cruiserweight, but he wasn't before. He was light heavyweight, and this is his first cruiserweight fight. As a light heavy, though, he had 27 fights, lost 3 of them. He had 12 KOs, so he was doing really well. He says he feels way better as a cruiserweight, though. He comes from the same gym as Natasha Jonas and has the same trainer in Joe Gallagher, so I expect big things from Hosea right there. He did hold the British title for obviously light heavy. That was in 2016. He, again, great amateur, went pro in 2012. Now, he is coming off a TKO loss to Dan Aziz, and that was back in November 2021, so pretty much a whole year ago. This is his comeback fight, but comeback, brand new person. And he is against Rinas Porozovos, I think I've said that right, who is a journeyman. But like I said, first ever cruiserweight fight, so I'm excited to see what he can give. Now, I think I might have missed a slide going on because there is another fight on the card with Ivan Mendy and Dennis Baranchik. So I should talk about that one as well because I also think it will be a cool fight. And I think Dennis is an awesome fighter. When you see Ivan Mendy out tomorrow, he's from France. He is very, very experienced. He has had 54 fights. He's won 47 of them. He's had 22 KOs and lost only 5. He is nicknamed the Lion. He has had European and WBC silver belts, and he is the current EBU international lightweight. So this is a lightweight clash. Now, he's had 4 wins in a row. His last loss was back in 2018, and that was to fellow Brit Luke Campbell, and that was back in Wembley, if you see that. He moaned about his last opponents though, so he's had like a winning streak, but he's like, oh, none of them were good enough. I want a hard opponent. So I think he's got one. This is Denis Baranchik, who is 34 and he is of the Ukraine. Now he is the current WBO international lightweight champion, so they've got a belt each they're going to fight for. Now Denis is 16 and 0. He is totally unbeaten and he has had 9 KOs. Now I want to talk about him. This is why, like, even though there wasn't a picture, I was like, no, I'm going to talk about him. Because, yes, he's unbeaten, but he was part of the class of 2012 from Ukraine. So his comrades were Lomachenko and Usyk. So he's part of those 3, which I think is really cool. And he won silver at the London 2012 Olympics. Probably could have won gold, but it was due to injury. So fabulous fighter. Also, fun fact, he went pro in a bare knuckle fight in just literally last year, 2021. So I think that's cool too. He also has a PhD in PE and sport from Ukraine. Now he went pro in 2015, and all his fights have been in the Ukraine, which is why you probably haven't heard as much about him. He had 1 fight in Hungary, but that's it. So this is a big stage for him to come out on, and I think he's going to do a great job. Now I want to tell you about him because he has really cool ring walks. So watch out for a really cool ring walk tomorrow. The last one, he came out as the Hulk and he was smashing through glass panels. I love a bit of drama, so I'm well up for this. He also had one where he came as Super Mario with all the Super Mario theme tunes going on. There was one where he was a prisoner. He was like properly chained up in the orange garb, which was really cool. So I mean, I'm excited for tomorrow. I really hope he does another one like that because that's pretty cool. Obviously, he's from the Ukraine. So he said that it was really difficult to bring himself away from the things that he was doing in Ukraine and to come to the gym and start training for this fight. But he said that Ukrainians need wins in all sorts of ways. And so this is important too. He was volunteering. He was helping people right on the front line or near the front line with a charity. And he was helping people there, just ordinary citizens as well as soldiers. So obviously he's got a lot to prove, a lot to fight for, and he's going to win. Again, if you want a really definite bet, I mean, you won't win much because he's the favourite, but definitely he'll win. Okay, so please join me next week. Can we have the next little photo, please? Next week, I will be previewing the Josh Warrington fight. He's against Alberto Lopez, and 2 fabulous females are on that card. We have got Ebony Bridges, and we've also got Shannon Courtenay. So I'm really excited to see those guys out again as well. So remember, this preview show for Fury Chisora is not the only thing you'll see this weekend of Fury Chisora. So keep an eye on the Talkin Fight website. Keep an eye on all the social platforms. There will be loads of clips, loads of videos. I'm literally going to the weigh-in like now. And I'll be there live on Fight Night tomorrow. So stay tuned because now you know all about the fighters. You got to know what's going on the night as well. So have a wonderful Friday, a wonderful weekend, and I'll probably see you in a couple of hours. All right. See you next week. Bye.